The Wave by Virginia Moffat. I wrote The Wave in 2013, and in some ways it was a direct response to the death of a very dear friend of mine, Pip O'Neill. Pip died of breast cancer in 2010, and she was often in a lot of pain, and she had a very difficult last year of life, but she never let that define her, and she carried on living as she always had lived, carrying on with homeopathy practice, taking on new skills, learning ceramics, enjoying her friends and family, and I found her approach to her death absolutely inspirational, and when a few years later I started thinking about a short story about a group of people on a beach, I wondered what brought them there, and I came up with this idea of a tsunami that you can't escape, and the choice to try and join a queue of traffic going nowhere, or to say, actually, that's it, I can't go away from this, I'm going to just live what's left to me in the best way possible. And neither of those choices are wrong, but it's just the choice that the characters in my book make. When I published The Wave in 2019, it was 6 months before the pandemic, and I had no idea that, as any of us did, that we would suddenly be faced with this idea of death that we often in the West don't get a chance to look at. And I know that for many, reading a book about the approach of death at a time when we're surrounded by it might not necessarily be the kind of book for you. But I've also been really struck by some of the responses I've had for readers in the last year who said actually they found it very helpful to explore these issues through a piece of fiction. So if this is a book for you, I hope give it a try, and I hope you enjoy it. The Wave is available from HarperCollins, one more chapter, and any good bookshop. And please do order via independent bookshops if you can. And if you don't have a bookshop near you and you prefer to use your Kindle, it is also downloadable on Amazon. Thank you. Facebook, Poppy Armstrong, 30th of August, 12:45 p.m. I'm going to die tomorrow. Sorry to be so melodramatic, but if you've seen the news, you'll know it's true. It took a while to sink in, didn't it? The idea that only yesterday the geologists at Las Palmas were so sure the seismic activity they were observing was nothing unusual, they didn't even raise an alert. The revelation that if it hadn't been for a bored intern noticing that the tiny tremors were building into a huge unexpected one, we'd have been carrying on with it as life as normal. The knowledge that it took so long for that intern to persuade his superiors that they were about to witness a massive volcanic collapse. There are now less than 12 hours before half the mountain falls into the sea, raising mega tsunamis that will hit the American, UK, Irish and African coasts by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, so that I and thousands of others will be killed by the time most of you are getting out of bed. How, when and why of our deaths making headlines around the globe before it has even happened? I'm still trying to think of it as a blessing of sorts. After all, it's more than most people get. Victims of car crashes receive no such warning. The terminally ill can't know the exact point their disease will overwhelm them. The elderly face a slow decline. I'm lucky, really, to know the precise instance of my life will end. It provides me with this one tiny consolation. Knowing how much time I have leaves left means I get to plan how to spend each moment, and I mean to make the most of every last second. Because, for me, the information has come too late. The authorities have managed to evacuate some hospitals, and it seems that local dignitaries can't be allowed to drown, but they say there's no time to execute a rescue plan for the rest of us. We will have to make our own way by road, rail or boat, 3 million people attempting to leave this narrow peninsula simultaneously. Already it is a less than edifying sight. The roads are too narrow, the station too crowded, the boats available in insufficient numbers. I do not want to spend my last hours like this, frantic, rushing out of control, in a race I have no chance of winning. Perhaps I'm wrong, but I have weighed the odds, and finding them stacked so heavily against me, I have made my choice. If this is the remaining time allotted to me, I will spend it doing what I want. The sun is shining, the surf is up. It is a perfect day for the beach. There's no point keeping the shop open, so I'll pack a bag, bring my tent, and pitch it down at Dalratha Cove, my favourite place in the whole world. If this is my last night, my last day, I want to spend it doing everything I love, swimming, surfing, lying out among the stars. I want to make the most of the time left to me. Perhaps there are some people out there who feel the same. If so, it would be good to have company. Join me, won't you?